Are Quakers ruining your cup of coffee? Well, today we're gonna do a blind taste of some bowls with Quakers in them to discover how big of an impact they really do make. But let's begin with just breaking down what Quakers are. Quakers are very, very lightly colored roasted beans that end up in your coffee bag. This could be attributed to two main reasons. Number one, the cherries that were picked off of the tree were underripe, therefore meaning that the seed was a little immature, and when it's going through the roasting process, it actually cannot be roasted properly. Therefore, even if you roast, let's say a dark roast, you actually still might end up with Quakers in your batch. And number two, the other reason is that the tree itself that the cherry was being picked from was unhealthy. This could also cause Quakers to end up in your coffee bag. So Quakers are a pain to deal with, both for the coffee drinker and also for the roaster. It is an absolute pain and something that's very difficult to avoid and oftentimes absolutely unavoidable, other than buying a really massive optical sorter or just doing hand sorting. Now, do they end up making a big impact in your end cup? Well, today we're doing a blind tasting of an Ethiopian natural, which Ethiopian naturals do happen to have a tendency to have more Quakers in them, but once sorted, they are definitely worth the extra work and time. So today we're gonna be doing 3 bowls that are gonna be cupped blindly. In one bowl, I'm gonna have 0 Quakers, so I've already sorted them. In another bowl, we're gonna have 5 Quakers that I'm gonna place in that bowl. And in the third bowl, we're gonna have 10 Quakers placed in the bowl. And then we'll end up talking about and tasting these bowls and see if I can blindly pick out the one that has no Quakers as opposed to the bowl that has Quakers in it. Let's get into this. I'm gonna go ahead and put a small little sticky note on the bottom of the bowls with the Quakers and mark how many Quakers are in each bowl. So we're gonna mark 10 with the bowl that has 10 Quakers, and the bowl that doesn't have any Quakers will be unlabeled. While I was doing the prepping, pretty much forgot where all these bowls were and are. My nose is a little stuffed, so this may cause some differences, but I think even when I'm not in the best shape, I think I'll still be able to tell a difference when it comes to tasting. We're coming up on 11.5 minutes. That's pretty much about where I'd like to start cupping. The coffee is cooled down a little bit and is ready to be tasted, so let's see what happens. All right, so right off the bat, what I'm noticing is there's one really standout bowl, which is this one in the middle. It just, compared to the other 2 bowls, it's tasting very thin, doesn't have quite that sweetness and that the essence, the substance of the 2 other bowls. My guess is that it's the bowl with 10 Quakers, which is the most Quakers. It has like the thought of what the other 2 bowls have, just a little bit of the Ethiopian natural, maybe some floral, some fruit coming through, but most of it's just thin and really lacking anything. The next thing I'm noticing is this bowl right here on my left, on your right. It's kind of in the midway point of where these 2 other bowls are sitting. It still has some nice flavor coming through, but it's almost balanced with that thinness that I'm picking up a lot of in this middle bowl. Where this bowl on my right and your left has just, it's round, it's full-bodied, it's has a lot of flavor coming through with none of that, just that thin unflavoredness that I'm picking up in this middle bowl especially. And again, this is me cupping with, a little bit of my nose being stuffed. So that could play a role in this as well. It seems like the Quakers in the bowls are making themselves known pretty clearly. And I can see how having Quakers in your cup, in your pour over, would make quite a big of a difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and try these one more time, and then we'll reveal what's underneath these cups and see if I'm actually right. All right, this bowl has no label on it whatsoever. So this is the bowl with no Quakers at all, which was my hunch right there. Going on to the next. Wow, this bowl has 5 Quakers in there. And this bowl obviously has 10. So I did miscalculate there a little bit, which I'm kind of surprised at. I'm gonna go ahead and give it another try. The final verdict, the bowl that has 0 Quakers in them was distinctly noticeable than those that had Quakers in them. So a very practical tip for you to take away here is when you're going to make your pour over and you're dosing out your 20 grams or whatever your dose is, or even if you're single dosing for your espresso, it's a quick 10-15 seconds just to glance through your dose, take out the Quakers, replace them, and you're getting a cup that's gonna be juicier, sweeter, rounder, and just overall better. And you don't have to change very much about everything else that you're doing when you're brewing your coffee. Hopefully this was informative, entertaining. That's gonna be a wrap for this video. Remember, as we always say, reflect what's good. Yeah, this cup that has no Quakers at all is just well structured, round, has great flavor. Yeah, the other two are just not enjoyable. Not enjoyable. There's a noticeable difference.